Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to the Daytona International Speedway as we are getting set to open up the 2020 NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series campaign, which will happen later on tonight here on March 531. But earlier this afternoon, we had qualifying to set up the starting grid for tonight's NEXTEra Energy Resources 250, the season opener for the 2020 campaign. Now, this is a brand new season for the Truck Series, new drivers and new teams, new sponsors, and a new schedule and a new format of the playoffs. 10 drivers will qualify for the 2020 postseason here in the Truck Series, and it's going to be interesting to see who makes it in as we have a stacked field of talent here on the 2020 roster. But for right now, it is all about qualifying. As you see, the Truck Series are on track for practice. We're going to go and show you who qualified where in the session this afternoon. Give you a chance to see where your favorite driver is going to start in the season opener tonight. Before we get started, we'd like to point out that we had a total of 41 trucks entered, but one of the biggest news that we got during the off season, we mentioned it on Daytona 500 pole qualifying, that the Truck Series will have 36 drivers start this race later on tonight instead of the normal 32 of the maximum limits. And that will also be the same for the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. 40 cars will compete instead of what it would be 38 cars competing for the Xfinity Series. But that means 5 drivers will still have to go home tonight or today for the Truck Series. And let's take a look at who went home and who qualified where for tonight's NEXTEra Energy Resources 250. Qualifying in the 41st position and missing the show would be the 74 of Tim Baines. He's driving the Chevrolet Silverado for Mike Harmon Racing this weekend, but Tim Baines unable to find the speed, and that 74 will not race later on tonight. He would be joined by the 32 of Bryant Barnhill, driving a third entry at Rain Brothers Racing. This number 32 was 40th in qualifying and will not race tonight. Fan favorite Norm Benning came here to Daytona hoping to make the show, but unfortunately his unsponsored Chevrolet did not have the speed in qualifying. Norm Benning will go home later on tonight. The number 49 of Ray Cicerelli would be another driver who found out he will not be competing later on tonight, as the game is kind of lagging right now, but that doesn't really matter. The 49 of Ray Cicerelli, who is supposed to be running full-time in 2020, the organization is. Unfortunately, they will not make the show here at Daytona. And the final driver who would not make the show for tonight's series race would include the 28 of Brian Doza for the FDNY Racing Team, one of the longest running teams in the series. Brian Doza will go home and will not race tonight. As we get to the drivers who did make the show, rolling out 36 on the grid will be the number 10 of Jennifer Jo Cobb. Best career finish came right here back in 2011 when she got 6th place at the end of the race. She'll start 36 later on tonight. Rolling out 35th on the grid would be the number 34 of Mason Massey, one of the many drivers who are pretty pleased to see that 36 trucks will make the show. Mason Massey was able to qualify his way in. He'll start 35th. Mason Massey's team owner and teammate, the 33 of Josh Rayum, qualified 34th in his number 33 Chevrolet. Rayum will start on the outside of row 17 tonight. South Carolina native Jordan Anderson qualified back in the 33rd position in that number 3 Lucas Oil Chevrolet. So he'll be alongside Josh Rayum on row 17. All the way back in 32nd place is where you will find sophomore driver Gus Dean for Tyler Young's team. Gus Dean will start 32nd in the number 12. Qualifying back in 31st place will include one of our Rookie of the Year drivers here at Daytona, not running full time, but that is Thad Moffitt, the grandson of the King Richard Petty, looking to make his Truck Series debut for Young's Motorsports. He'll run a handful of races this year in that 20 truck beginning here tonight at Daytona. He'll roll off 31st alongside his teammates. On the outside of row number 15 is where you will find one of our Rookie of the Year contenders for the entire year. Driver the number 30 for On Point Motorsports, that is Danny Bone. Driving for Stephen Lane's team. Danny Bone will be running full time. He was in the ARCA race last Sunday. He'll run the entire schedule here in 2020. Another Rookie of the Year contender would be another Young's Motorsports Chevrolet, that is Tate Fogelman. He'll be replacing Tyler Dipple in the 02. Fogelman will drive full time and he'll start 29th. One of the drivers for Al Neese's Nice Motorsports team this weekend will be the 44 of Austin Terrio, a former ARCA winner here at Daytona. He'll roll off 28th. 27th place on the grid is where you will find the number 9 of Cody Rohrbaugh in the CR7 Motorsports Chevrolet. He'll roll off 27th on the grid. 26 is the number 97 of Jesse Little, running part-time here in 2020. He'll be one of our Xfinity Series Rookie of the Year contenders, but Little will start 26th later on tonight. Another Rookie of the Year contender in the field will be rolling out from 25th on the grid. That is the number 19 of Derek Kraus, the defending ARCA West Series champion. He'll start 25th for Bill McAnally. Back in 24th on the grid will be the number 11 of Spencer Davis, driving for Reddy Jones Racing. Spencer Davis's team looking to run the entire schedule, but right now they only have the first 4 races locked up on the schedule, looking for some more sponsorship to run the entire year for Spencer Davis. Last year's Daytona winner, and certainly one of tonight's favorites to win this race, will be Austin Hill in the number 16, but he'll start all the way back in 23rd place in his United Reynolds Toyota. One of our driver changes for 2020 includes number 17 of Todd Gilliland, the third generation driver. Moves over to his father's team, DGR Crosley Racing, and will drive the number 17 with Valvoline sponsorship. Todd Gilliland, though, won't be alone on row number 11, as he'll have his new DGR Crosley teammate, number 15 of Natalie Decker, running full time here in 2020. She'll start 21st in that number 15 Ford F-150. As we get into our fastest 20 trucks from qualifying, we begin with number 68 of Clay Greenfield, pairing up with his new crew chief, Jeff Hammond, coming over to this number 68 team. Out of retirement, Jeff Hammond will be the crew chief, and he got his truck 20th on the night starting grid. Starting back on the inside of row number 10 will be the number 45 rookie Ty Majeski, joining this number 45 team for the entire 2020 season. He'll start 19th in the 45. On the outside of row number 9 is where you will find front row Joe Nemechek. Returns to the Truck Series in the number 8, and he'll start 18th tonight here in Daytona. The defending NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series champion, Matt Crafton, will roll off from the 17th spot here on the starting grid, still looking for his first restrictor plate win here in the Truck Series. If you want to pull for an underfunded driver and team, look no further than Timmy Hill in the 56. He qualified his way into the show on the outside of row number 8. That's where Timmy Hill will start later on tonight. Speaking of another underdog, here is the 47 of Chris Fontaine, qualified inside the top 15. That's where he will start on the inside of row number 8. Starting in 14th place tonight will be the number 4 rookie Rafael Assard, one of the drivers who competed in the ARCA race last Sunday. Rafael will start 14th on the outside of row number 7. 3-time Daytona winner Johnny Sauter returns to Thor Sport Racing here in 2020, and he'll roll off from 13th on the grid for Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter's teammate Ben Rhodes will kick off our Fast Dozen here at Daytona. Ben Rhodes in the Havoline colors here in Daytona will start on the outside of row number 6. Another smaller team making some strides here in Daytona would include the number 04 of Corey Roper. Had a strong run going here 1 year ago until he got crashed late in the race, but Corey Roper will start 11th here tonight. Great qualifying effort by the number 22 of Austin Wayne Self for AM Racing. Austin Wayne will start on the outside of row number 5 in that 22. Qualifying ninth tonight will be the number 75 of Parker Kligerman, one of the drivers who'll be competing on Sunday in the Daytona 500 with Spire Motorsports. Parker Kligerman, a two-time Talladega winner here in the Truck Series, will start ninth in the 75. On the outside of row number 4 is the number 52 of Stuart Friesen, driving for a somewhat different team here in 2020. Still with Halmar Friesen Racing, but it's a Toyota team here in 2020. A new paint scheme as well. A couple of new sponsors on the number 52 of Stuart Friesen, and he'll start 8th later on tonight. On the inside of row number 4 is the 51 of Harrison Burton, one of our Xfinity Series regulars. He'll be running for Rookie of the Year in Xfinity here in 2020. Harrison Burton still looking for his first career win here in the Truck Series. He'll start 7th tonight. Just shy of a starting spot inside the top 5 would be the number 21 of Zane Smith for GMS Racing. Zane Smith will start on the outside of row number 3 in the 21. Now we will look at your top 5 starters for tonight's race here in Daytona, and it'll kick off with the number 2 sophomore driver Sheldon Creed. And for the number 2 for GMS Racing, looking to have a breakout sophomore campaign, and he'll start out his sophomore year from the inside of row number 3 here later on tonight. Two-time ARCA Daytona winner Grant Enfinger in the number 98 would be the fastest Ford in qualifying. Grant Enfinger will start 4th later on tonight. Our fastest Toyota in qualifying would be the number 18 of Christian Eckes, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders, and would actually be our fastest rookie in qualifying. Christian Eckes will start 3rd later on tonight. On the outside of the front row would be GMS Racing's Brett Moffitt, the former series champion, and that number 23 this season for GMS Racing, and they'll start on the outside of the front row. But it will be GMS Racing's sophomore driver Tyler Ankrum on the pole for tonight's NEXTEra Energy Resources 250. Tyler Ankrum may be in the 2nd year in the Truck Series, but he'll be making his Daytona debut tonight here on March of 531, meaning it is a GMS Racing front row with Tyler Ankrum and Brett Moffitt. So everybody, that is all here from Daytona for the Truck Series. Until tonight, when we will put these trucks in a group of 18 rows and let them loose for the first race of the 2020 season for the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series. Coming up next, we will have NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying review to show you what took place in Xfinity Series qualifying, as they will compete later on tomorrow afternoon. But it'll be Ankrum and Moffitt on the front row, and we'll see tonight for the truck race here from Daytona.